Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. So this week I'm going to show you how to preserve your green beans. So let's get picking. If like us you have loads of green beans and you can't eat them as quickly as they're growing, one of the best ways to preserve them is to freeze them, and that means you've got fresh green beans throughout the rest of the year. I've got a good little tip for you. The ends of the green beans are perfectly okay to eat, so you don't have to worry about cutting them off. But you do have to worry about cutting the tips off. However, when you pick them, if you actually stick your nail in, you can pick them off straight away, and that way you don't have to cut them when you get into the kitchen. They're already pre-cut and ready. So there we are, all the green beans picked. I've left some of the smaller ones, we'll get them in another day or two. One thing I've learnt is that maybe next year I'm not going to have green beans, but I'll maybe try and pick a variety that's purple, because they'll be a lot easier to try and find in amongst all this green foliage. But there we are, we've got them. On to the next stage. First things first, I'm back in the kitchen. I've got the kettle on and I'm going to give my green beans a good wash. If you've used my tip, you shouldn't have to worry about cutting the tops off these beans, and they're all ready to be put into the boiling water. So you want to make sure you've got a pan and you want to fill it with boiling water, and then put it on the hob and make sure it's bubbling before you put the beans in. Once the beans have gone in, you need to set your timer for 3 minutes, and while that's happening we need to get our bowl of ice water ready. So the reason why we put the green beans straight into ice water is because it will stop them cooking, and it also keeps their great green colour. If you miss out this step, then they kind of go a bit of a dull grey colour. They're still perfectly okay to eat, but they don't look as appetising, so I would definitely recommend you do this step. So I'm just using water that I've got from the fridge, or you can run your cold tap for a little bit to make sure it's as cold as possible. So once your 3 minutes is up, drain them in a colander before you put them into the ice water. I like to run them under a cold tap as well and toss them around. Basically what you want to try and do is cool them down as quickly as possible. Now you want to put them in a colander and drain them again, and then put them on a tea towel to get them as dry as possible. By drying them like this, it stops them forming lots of ice crystals and sticking either to each other or sticking to the tray. So now you want to get yourself a baking tray and spread out your green beans across them as flat as you can and put them in the freezer. You're then going to want to leave them in the freezer for about a day or so, just to make sure they're frozen, before you then put them in a bag. So when you're then ready to eat the green beans, all you have to do is grab a handful out of the bag, and what we do is we put them in a microwavable dish with a little bit of water on high power for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you've got gorgeous green beans that tasted like they're fresh from the garden. In the freezer like this, I think they're good for at least 6 months. We sometimes have them a year later and they're still quite good. As you can see, we've had quite a good harvest this year, so I definitely think we'll be eating some with our Christmas dinner. There we are guys, I hope you've enjoyed this week's video on preserving green beans, and I hope you have just as much success as we have, and you can enjoy them for the rest of the year. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys, bye!